Real independence must be achieved if there is to be real peace. The question is very clear. American imperialism is the aggressor. It must stop its air attacks on the North. It must put an end of its aggression in the South. Withdraw its troops from South Vietnam and let the Vietnamese people settle by themselves their own affairs, as provided for in the Geneva Agreements.
Ho Chi Minh, born Nguyen Sinh Khong, was the leader of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam and of the Viet Minh, the latter of which was a key revolutionary and nationalist movement for Vietnamese independence. A dedicated Leninist, Minh was a radical proponent of Vietnamese liberation from colonialism. He recalls in his essay, The Path Which Led Me to Leninism, that a true revolution must condemn colonialism, proclaiming violence as a necessary means to overthrow colonial rule. He proclaims to his fellow freedom fighters, this is the path to our liberation. By inspiring the growing nationalist masses, Ho Chi Minh became Uncle Ho, the ultimate symbol of wisdom and Vietnamese liberation. He served as the ideological figurehead for nationalists across Vietnam during the First Indochina War, a decisive victory which saw the overthrow of French colonial rule. General Giap, a revered military strategist of the 20th century, combined guerrilla and conventional warfare tactics made possible by modern Soviet equipment. As elaborated by historian Nguyen Te An, Minh's creation of Salvation Associations, which were anti-foreign groups led by students, women, and religious associations, established the foundation of the DRV's political and military strategy. One such foundation was the People's War, a Maoist military strategy where both military and civilian forces would draw the enemy into the unfamiliar countryside. This not only extended the war indefinitely, but forced superpowers to agree to lopsided concessions. This can be seen in the 1973 Paris Peace Accords, where the U.S. agreed to withdraw its troops from Vietnam and allow 150,000 DRV troops to remain stationed below the 17th parallel. As noted by Nguyen, despite his reputation being tarnished by failed land reform policies, Ho Chi Minh is still recognized, both in the U.S. and Vietnam today, as the undisputed ideological leader of the Vietnamese independence.
While Ho may have been the ideological leader of Vietnam, there was a man behind the scenes. Born as Le Duan Huan, Le Duan was the true leader of North Vietnam, hidden behind the splendor of Ho.
Although he hid behind others, Le Duan was undeniably the main architect, grand strategist, and commander-in-chief of the Vietnamese Communist war effort.
Ho Chi Minh's influence as the figurehead of the communist movement eventually became an obstacle for Le Duan. Although it must be noted that Le Duan was not alone. For his partnership with the formidable revolutionary from North Vietnam, Le Duc Tho, was critical in Duan's rise to power, exterminating their political rivals and sworn enemies, of which the most prominent were that of Ho Chi Minh and Giap. Upon returning to Hanoi after activities in the South, Le Duan reunited with his ally Le Duc Tho and set his sights on the Politburo. With his iron will, focus, and administrative skill, Le Duan became the general secretary of the Politburo and took control of the Vietnamese Workers' Party. Together, the two were adamant in waging total war for the country's liberation and reunification of North and South Vietnam.
Immediately, Le Duan began to escalate the war effort, strengthening the military and turning North Vietnam into a police state. Then, with the ultimate goal of reunification with the South, he planned the grand finale of the war in the form of the General Offensive and the General Uprising during the Tet holiday, also known as the Tet Offensive. Taking advantage of the military structures left in place from the First Indochina War, he mobilized Vietnamese peasants on a greater scale than ever before. However, Ho Chi Minh opposed these plans, believing that a combination of military and political efforts would be more effective than military escalation alone, and would be more helpful to the southern insurgency. In an act of subterfuge, Le Duan blackmailed Ho Chi Minh in order to silence his opposition. Several years later, Le Duan's political maneuvers led to the mass purge of the Vietnamese Communist Party, eliminating the allies of Ho Chi Minh and General Giap in order to cement his control over the Communist Party.
Duan's rise to power took Vietnam down a far different path than Ho Chi Minh may have imagined for the country. His aggressive military strategy and firm belief in war forced Vietnam into further conflict before it was fully able to recover. His police state prompted millions of Vietnamese to flee the country in search of refuge, many of whom chose the United States, demonstrated by the country's large population of Vietnamese Americans. His escalation of the war is one of the many factors in why millions ended up dying throughout the war. His adamant refusal of anything other than warfare resulted in massive escalation from the United States. Agent Orange, used by the Americans, has caused not only environmental damage to the country, but also long-lasting physical harm to many Vietnamese. If Ho had remained in charge, who knows if Vietnam would remain one of the poorest countries